What is the ruling on wearing a wig? When without a wig, the lawyer cannot appear before the judge in the courtroom. This question has two parts. The first part on wearing a wig. Generally speaking, as in the hadith of Abdullah ibn Mas'ud, may Allah be pleased with him, the Prophet ﷺ cursed a number of people, and among them, those who tie extension hair to other women and the women who have this done to them. So the Prophet ﷺ cursed both the hairdresser and the client. Al-wasila wal-mustawsila. And from this hadith, scholars said that wearing a wig is even worse because extensions are attached to the normal hair. So people can see the normal hair but are deceived by these extensions. While in the case of a wig, it is totally concealed and something else appears to the people which does not relate to a woman's hair at all. So wearing a wig is haram, it's prohibited in this sense. And it's a major sin because whatever the Prophet ﷺ curses, or whenever Allah curses an act or a person, this means it's a major sin. What is the ruling on lawyers? See, some judicial systems, after being colonized by the Brits and by other European countries, they, until today, have this menace of imitation. Though they have freed their country, allegedly, from the colonial powers, yet they still are conquered and controlled mentally by them and remotely. So you find the judges wearing white curled wigs and special robes with specific color code. And they appear in a very funny way. And it looks, with all due respect, stupid. But who cares? This is the system and they want to follow it to the letter, even if people mock them. This case, wearing a wig to appear in a court or to work as a legislator or rather a lawyer, wearing a wig and such a costume, the scholars say that this is permissible because the intention of wearing extensions or having hair extensions is not there. And this wig is not worn as a wig, but rather as a head cover or as a costume. So the need of deceiving people does not appear to be present, and it seems that this is permissible as long as the job necessitates it. However, in such courts, we have to be careful from something that is even more serious than wearing a wig. Because if people legislate other than what Allah has legislated, some scholars, and a great number of scholars, consider this to be one of the things that nullify Islam. So working as a lawyer with man-made laws is subjective to whether a person, first of all, is knowledgeable with Islamic Sharia. Secondly, that he would not work except on cases that go side by side with the Sharia law, in the sense that if I'm a lawyer and I'm defending a client, the client, Islamically, in my own personal view, should have the right to be defended. So Islamically, if he is a murderer and I'm defending him to make him skip death row, my job is haram, my earning is haram, because I know that he's a murderer. But if he is, for example, a woman oppressed and seeking divorce, In this case, I am doing a favor and I am acting within the Sharia boundaries. However, I must not ask for a ruling that transgresses or exceeds the Islamic law. In Islam, for example, I can ask for divorce, for separation, for khul', depending on the situation. But in Western countries, in Kafir countries, they sometimes give half of what the man owns, half of the man's wealth, to his divorced wife. So, according to the evidences and the case and the situation, I can do that. But according to Islamic law, this is transgression, it's haram. So I must not assist on such a thing. Yes, if there is an allowance for the period of iddah that she did not get, if he spent like 6 years and he did not spend a penny on her or on her children as maintenance, and he did not provide for them, all of this is back pay, a debt on the husband. I can ask for that. I can bargain for that, but not to take more than what Islam gives to them, and Allah Azza wa Jal knows best. Nauras says, what is the ruling on studying medicine and working in hospitals where there is mixing?